Good day, everyone, and welcome to the Big West Women's Volleyball Preview. On screen with me, UC San Diego second-year head coach Melanie Greene. Join me from La Jolla, California. How are you doing, Melanie?
I'm great, Rob. It's a beautiful day in San Diego, as you know. So, we're excited to get this season underway, and good to see your face.
Oh, always a pleasure to catch you on, especially after this last season. And actually, it's a great segue just right out of the gate, because after one season of being at the helm of the Tritons, great season. What were some of your key takeaways?
Oh, thanks, Rob. I first and foremost, I couldn't do it without the staff and admin. That's for sure. There's a lot of work to be done, as you know, and it was about the players. The players knew when to turn it on, and having a team buy in from the very beginning on year one is pretty hard to do. And I think, it's a testament to the staff and the work and the trust that they put in, but also I think it was the players. It was a special group of girls. And so, a lot of takeaways we had was just understanding how special a group it was with them as individuals, but also, understanding this is a tough conference. And so, a lot of it is, yes, it's about strategy and preparation in your opponent, but I think it's more about us on our side. And so we spent a lot of time in practice and becoming consistent in what we did through every situation. So I think that was the biggest takeaway of really understanding the focus has to be on our side, and then recruiting the right players to come in, much like the ones we had. So we're excited about this new season kicking off and believe we've found the right players to add value and win a championship.
Being an outsider and observing your first year, being able to be on the sideline, calling some of the matches and following the ESPN Plus feeds, seems like the transition of being a first-year coach was pretty smooth for you, unless something was going on that you did very well.
Well, that saying of you see ducks that, they look smooth and calm up top, but they're paddling underneath like heck. So I feel like, it's always a grind, and I think it was just a testament to the players, and our admin of making things smooth. And, sure, there's chaos moments all the time, but it's our reaction to it as leaders. And so, we know the players have a lot on their plate already. And so we had a lot of staff meetings and just getting the right people in here to make sure that we're leading these kids, just to, when they fall, get up again, and there's going to be failure and embracing those failures. So I feel like that's who we are as a staff. And so sometimes it makes it a little bit more smooth because you embrace some of those hard times rather than fearing it. And so, it was a great experience, and I'm just so thankful to have had the opportunity to have my first year and now on to the next.
Well, it's a fairly young conference if you think coaching-wise. About 50% are in their first or second season. So
that's right.
There's been turnaround, but it's made the conference so competitive.
Yes.
What I wanted to ask you is, so you've gone through the spring season, and can you give us a little preview and thoughts of what you've seen so far and what you're seeing so far here early in the fall?
Yeah, for sure. So, you've always heard that saying of, you recruit the players and you don't know how they're going to respond until they get to your program. And I feel like, we have a pretty good idea of how they might respond based on the personalities I mentioned prior of what we're looking for, the competitors that we're looking for. And so, this spring we had a real small, intimate group. So, we have basically 9 returners. We lost 11. And so we're adding 9 new players. And so those 9 players were not with us this past spring. So like I said, it was an intimate group. We were really able to dial it in and just giving that one-on-one, really intimate culture of looking about setting the tone. You guys are the ones that are preparing these new incomers for what it's going to be like. And so I think it was really fantastic. We had a lot of young players, as you said, step up in leadership roles, call their own meetings and say, look, this is what our culture is going to be like. And so this is what we need to demand. This is going to be our standard and our expectation going into next fall. And so that was really amazing to see. I've never seen that from young players. And so I'm excited. We have a mix coming in of those new 9 that are transfers, some, juniors, a lot, obviously freshmen coming in as well. And so even though we do have a young team, I do believe we've recruited the right type of people. Like I said, the right type of competitors. And so we've already seen them kind of come together and meet each other and mesh. Their priorities are in check, Rob. And that to me is, you can tell a lot by just talking to someone, meeting their family, what they're involved in. We have a lot of these players that have played on their national teams that have talked about retiring their jerseys when they get here, just confidence. And so those are the type of kids that we're going after that understand what it takes to be a champion. So we're really excited about, those 9 that we're bringing in. So even though we're young going into the fall, I have no doubt that these kids are going to start making their mark early, and, the future is bright.
All right, Coach, first season at the helm, and your team makes the Big West Women's Volleyball Championship. How's that experience really been ingrained in your program, and have you developed your team forward?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both, and I think we're going to know more during double days of, some of these freshmen coming in that are absolutely going to be taking some starting positions. But at the same time, Rob, I'm confident because of their experiential knowledge that they're coming in with based on them playing on their national teams. A lot of them have won championships from their own country, earning accolades such as best hitter. And I've gotten a lot of comments from a lot of power schools that had seen them play while they were recruiting overseas. So I have no doubt some of these freshmen are going to be coming in ready to go and feeling like, they've been there, done that to some degree. So, I feel like it's a little bit of both. We have some freshmen that are true freshmen coming in from the States that are, have an experience being on somewhat of their national team. And so, like I said, it's going to be really exciting to see them in practice and kind of competing with our other players. One player in particular, Ireland, she's coming from Oklahoma, so she's had some experience. She's coming in as a junior. So we're really looking for her leadership and execution from the beginning. So it's a special group, and I'm excited to see what they can do.
Well, this special group, I wanted to see if you could share a little bit about some key returners here for the Tritons here in 2025.
Oh, yeah. So, Molly McCluskey, as you know, she's, great individual, such a competitor. She's a quiet competitor, but she's lethal, boy. So I don't think, in the conference we see many freshmen do what she has done and what she's proven. So super consistent for us, very physical. She has a quiet confidence, like I said, a demeanor that can't be shook. And that's what I love about her. You don't see that from many freshmen. And so I'm excited about what she brings, her steady nature to the court, coming in as a sophomore. So that's going to be exciting. Of course, Jasmine, she's going to be a senior. Excited about what she's going to bring as a middle. Of course, she has the experience, but what a great leader, always positive, leads conversations in the locker room to just redirect players, right? And help them understand why we're here and what we're doing. So super excited about that. Paulina, our libero, she is returning as well. Another freshman that you would have known was a freshman and what she achieved last year and her consistency on the floor. So again, excited for all of those returners that were starters, and then ones that, definitely contributed to our success that, came in, and Kayla and Iris, a lot of players that came in and definitely had their impact even last year. So yeah, we're excited about those returners. And then obviously, like I said, the ones that we're adding to the table.
Well, I just want to add on what you've said. You said with Molly McCluskey, there's not a lot of athletes who've done what she's done. She's the 3-time Big West Freshman of the Week. I'm like, well, what about Paulina Bailey? She's 4-time Big West Defensive Player of the Week. She topped her.
That's right. I know. These kids are studs. So, they are, it's just special. Like you said, Rob, you don't see that, and it's back-to-back kids that were freshmen on the same team, returning as sophomores. So we're excited about their leadership. Those two of whom I mentioned earlier in the spring were the ones in that small group that got the team going, of saying, look, this is what we want to accomplish in the fall. These are our dreams. How do we make it a reality, right? What do we need to do to make our standards excellence? What do we need to sacrifice? What do we need to be thinking about and discussing as a team going forward, and making habits right away? And so, like I said, Rob, I haven't seen that. That's the first time I've ever seen that in any team that I've played on or been coaching, to have freshmen do that. And so it's a special group, and I'm excited about what they're going to bring even as a young group.
Well, let's go to some new faces. You already mentioned Island McNeese, a transfer from Oklahoma, but you bring in an international, Maria Fernanda Alfonso. Can you share a little bit about her?
Sure. So she is, about 6'3". Boy, she is a just strength powerhouse. You have different players. Like I said, Ireland is more fast twitch, quick. Maria, what a balance to the floor she brings. She was on her national club league in Brazil. It's very much like JO's would be like in the States. She was able to earn second, and then she was voted the best hitter of the tournament. And so, for us, we're very excited to get her experience. Maria, like I said, is a power hitter, and she has that mentality that has been there, done that, and has confidence. Her dad played as well, so comes from a volleyball family that has been to the highest level, and so she's been raised in that environment. She was the one that told me on her visit that she wants to retire her jersey as a Triton. And so, like I said, that's the confidence you need as a player coming in. It doesn't mean you're not going to have failures and mistakes, but it's just another testament to show her priorities are in check, and she wants it, and she's willing to do what it takes to get there. So very excited about her incoming as a freshman.
You said you have a few internationals on your team, but one's particularly stuck out, the two Albanian sisters. Can you share a little bit about their story?
Oh, yes. So, of course, we have Iris, that's a returning player. Her sister, Alba, is going to be an incoming freshman. And so, there's nothing like promoting trust on your team. That's what we want as coaches. And, of course, we try and give lessons and try and give tools on how to help each other. But there's nothing like sisters coming aboard that know each other in and out. And so now Alba and Iris, they are on their basically national team, and they're on U21 Albania, where they are performing at a tournament. They just finished third, but they had been practicing for months. They had very much double days like what we will have now. They were on a strict diet, certain regime that they had going for their success. So very excited about, just their experience that they're going to bring back to this squad.
Excellent. Well, let me ask you this, Melanie. What has you most excited about the upcoming 2025 season?
I think just this conference, Rob, I think it's a competition at every turn, and so like I said from the beginning, of some of the takeaways from our last season is preparation is key. I am very much a practice coach. Of course, I love games where they can step into their craft and sit back and kind of watch, but I love practices, and I love pushing players beyond what they think they're capable of. And so that's what has me excited about this season, of watching these kids in practice, driving them to their best, encouraging them, motivating them, but also watching their disciplines that they have innately come through, that I think is going to set the tone for this team, and where culture is then driven, their identity is driven. So that's the most favorite part that I have about coaching, is watching these kids in action, teaching life lessons and seeing how they respond. And so that's my favorite part in practice, but I know all of that's going to prepare us for this season. So, we have Davis and Hawaii, that are going to be leaving. So I'm sad about that, but also excited about the new teams coming in. So this year is going to be a special year where we can, kind of set the tone against those teams as well who are exiting our conference.
Well, let me ask you two more questions. The first of which is, what do you think we'll see competition-wise here in the Big West?
Oh, yeah. Well, Rob, this is a tough conference. Every team, I feel, there's a lot of strong returners coming that have had that experience. Irvine's got another strong squad with their outside and middle returning that, did some damage. Obviously, Hawaii, Santa Barbara, Eva Travis coming back. I know they acquired an international player, Emma, who's very much probably going to, in my opinion, dominate, as well. So a lot of these players in our conference, very well could have played at the next level, meaning power conferences. And so I have no doubt, this is going to be a strong year. And I'm excited to see a lot of teams start, pushing in and getting into the NCAA tournament because of the talent of each team, and we're kind of training each other, in our conference of just it's high level consistently. So there's not a team that's going to come in and you're just going to throttle. Each team is very competitive and up and coming as well. So very excited about what the Big West holds.
I've been waiting and eager, wanting to share this question with you because you're one of the very few coaches that actually answered it, and it was very succinct, short, and to the point. But what is your only the bold prediction here in 2025?
Okay, well, are we starting with the Big West? Is that the only the bold in the Big West?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, come on, Rob. You got to always speak the life, I think, into your players. And as I always say, if coaches don't believe it, then the players aren't going to believe it. And so I believe with all my heart that anything is possible, that UC San Diego will be, right, Big West champions. And I think, of course, there's going to be ups and downs. Of course, there's going to be great wins. There's going to be bad losses. But you got to keep going, for your goals and your vision and what your heart wants. And I don't see us being out of it in any degree, whether we're a young team or whether we're a seasoned team. And so, in short, no doubt, I'm always going to say that until we achieve it. And then we make that a consistent, accomplishment every single year. So yes, the Tritons will be the Big West champions, Rob, in 2025.
There we go. That's what Melanie Greene, head coach of UC San Diego. That's why I loved it. I'm like straight into the point and not a lot of words around it. So again, that's Melanie Greene, head coach, UC San Diego. Looking forward to seeing you competing this year with the Tritons.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate your time.